It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. I am your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. And this show is brought to you by CartKing.com. CartKing.com. That's cart-king.com. 877-986-7771. Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? I'm sure you thought about it by now, right? Perhaps your current business wants to add multiple point-of-sale locations across the country. Maybe the facility you manage could kickstart revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services. CartKing.com can be the answer to your needs. CartKing.com is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile retail coffee, food carts, and kiosks that money can buy. For 20 long years of hard work, CartKing.com has been working with clients and corporations across America to provide indoor and outdoor carts and kiosks for any application. So what you do is if you have a business, you have a building, whatever it is, and you need one of these carts or these kiosks, these booths, where they sell sunglasses and stuff like that, coffee, flowers. You go to cart-king.com, you pick out the one that you think that applies to your business, you give them a call, you say, hey, this is the one I want. They'll custom build it for you, they'll custom design it for you, and they'll ship it worldwide. 877-986-7771. You tell them Ed Opperman sent you, you get a good deal. Also, too, okay, because I'm trying to get these guys to sign up again. So we got to sell a couple of these cards, guys. Okay, let's be honest with you. Because they paid me for a year. And I haven't heard from them saying, hey, boy, we're selling all these carts. So what I'll do is, if you buy one of these carts from these guys here at CartKing.com, I'll give you a lifetime membership to the OppermanReport.com. Now, how's that? Now, that's worth. You just buy a cart and put it in your garage. Just leave it there. You get that lifetime membership until I kill myself. I'm so sick of doing this show. It's right around the corner here. Not much, make it much longer doing the show. I am Ed Opperman. I'm your host of the Opperman Report. I'm the president of Opperman Investigations and Digital Forensic Consulting. You can find me at emailrevealer.com if you need any kind of PI work. You need some kind of digital forensics. You need somebody located, adoption investigation. You need catch somebody cheating online, trace their email address back to online dating websites, porn sites, escort service sites. You need to locate somebody as a current place of employment, asset search, find out how much money they got, what their bank accounts are. Emailrevealer.com. Okay, here we go. Whew. Where are we here? What a day, huh? What a day, man. The wall, the airports were shut down, and then good old Roger Stone goes down. What a day. Okay, I've been working on a theory now for a while, and I'm going to try and get it out to you. I'm working it out in my head still. It's not 100% there, but I think I'm onto something. Okay, almost canceled tonight's show, by the way. I got so sick yesterday. I, got up, took Vic to school. And you know what happened? A couple of nights ago, we got because we're taking my daughter's mother back to court for child support, right? So, and I got there, I filed a motion in court and stuff like that. Pretty much up to this point, I'm representing myself. I can do these, I'm a paralegal. I can do this kind of stuff myself for the most part. But, I might have to bring somebody in. And, so we get their reply, and it was just loaded, man, to the gills with all this stuff, So now, I got to get back and work on that. So I was all stressed out. I went out and bought myself a bottle of potato juice, And so the next day, I had to get up early, and I had this meeting because we're getting together with these people to help promote the YouTube channel mostly. We're going to be promoting the show and getting us on more stations and trying to get more advertisers and stuff like that. So I'm bringing in a little bit of help. And one of the things we're going to be doing is promoting the YouTube channel. So if you've never subscribed to the Opperman Report YouTube channel, you just go on YouTube and you go to Ed Opperman, put that in, and you'll see the channel come up. You see the logo, the Superman logo there. And you just subscribe to that, too. And there's like a little bell you can click on, too, so you'll get a notification whenever a show goes up live, and you can listen to the show. So, and if you can help me out, too, and share it, and promote it for me, and post the link, to your friends on Facebook and all that kind of stuff, that would be a huge, huge help. I would appreciate that very, very much. Ed Opperman YouTube channel. So anyway, I had this meeting yesterday morning, and I didn't really want to go. I was tired. I was hungover, all stressed out. And so, I grabbed a little cup of coffee on the way. But they promised me there was going to be bagels at this meeting. Okay, it's going to be bagels and fresh coffee. I said, okay, I'll go down and have my bagels with it. There wasn't a crumb to be eaten in this home. So anyway, I left there and, man, got home. And I was so sick, man. I got so sick yesterday. I almost called an ambulance, man. I had the cold sweats and the dizzy. I couldn't walk from the dry heaves and stuff. So it was definitely a more like a dehydration going on. And I think I had a little touch of this inner ear imbalance, too, because my ears have been all stuffy. I've been complaining about it. Been trying to use it. Anyway. So I was really sick yesterday. So I almost canceled today's show. But when this Roger Stone stuff came up, I could not pass on it. And I was all, excited this morning when I saw Roger Stone get busted. But then as the day went on, St. John Hunt, who was the son of E. Howard Hunt, one of the Watergate burglars and one of the alleged JFK assassins. He's been on the show a few times, and he's become a friend of mine. And, he works for Roger Stone. He ghostwrites Roger Stone's books. As a matter of fact, the first radio show that ever promoted and did an interview about Roger Stone's latest book, Stone's Rules, was my show. They came to us first, and we did the first interview. And I was talking to St. John Hunt today, and his boss got busted. His friend got busted today. So, and I hate to see anybody go to jail. I hate to see anybody get arrested. And because it does, even if the guy's a jerk, and I think we would all agree that Stone's got his problems, to say the very least. But the thing is it affects everyone around him. The guy's got grandkids, he's got a wife, and he's got this employee, St. John Hunt, who happens to be a friend of mine. I was talking to him today. I was also talking to Robert Morrow, who is the former ghostwriter for St. John, for Roger Stone. And I'm going to be having both of these guys. I invited them to come on the show, and we're going to be doing shows in the future with them. In the next week or so, I'm going to be taping with Roger Stone. Roger Stone put me in touch with this guy, too, who says that it's got proof that Nixon stole $1 billion in gold. And I'm going to be interviewing him this week. I'm going to call him tomorrow and arrange that interview. I'm working on an interview with Terry Hobbs from the West Memphis 3. His sister or his cousin, I think it's his cousin, wrote a book about his version of the story. And so I contacted him today, and he wants to come back on the show. I have done an exclusive interview with Terry Hobbs, one of the only interviews he's ever done. The longest interview for sure he's ever done. So we got that. What else is going on? I got some good stuff. Tomorrow I'm interviewing somebody about D.B. Cooper. And then Monday, I think it's about the Smiley Face Killers again. We're doing Monday. But she also has a book coming out, too, about something else that's interesting. Oh, Cosby. Yeah, she has a book coming up about Bill Cosby. So a lot of good stuff coming up. Okay, you can keep an eye out. I did a really good show with John Brisson. John Brisson came back, and we did an hour and a half on William Barr. William Barr, our new Attorney General. And this guy's the Forrest Gump of scandals, man. This guy's been involved in every kind of scandal you can imagine. Noriega and Iran-Contra. He was involved with Epstein. So we got a real winner here with this guy. He came out of the CIA, started his career in the CIA. First 5 years of his career out of college was CIA. William Barr, so we got that going on. So, back to good old Roger Stone. A lot of people, too, by the way, don't know Roger Stone's background. People know him recently because of his connection to Trump. But a lot of people don't realize that he was Al Sharpton's campaign manager in New York City. When Sharpton ran for mayor, when he ran for president, his guy was Roger Stone. And that's because, Sharpton, the FBI agent, if you may not know this, but Al Sharpton's worked for the FBI. You can go on the smoking gun and see all the documents. He actually set people up. He had cases. He had a phone in his home that was a direct line to the FBI. That anybody talked on that phone, the FBI would be hearing on the other end. So this guy was a full-time operator, man, working for the FBI as an informant and as an agent for the FBI. And who was his campaign manager? Roger Stone. And what a duo that is, right? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on there, right? And you'd think with his connection to Stone and to Trump, the day that Stone gets busted, Al Sharpton would be all over the place, right, talking about this. But no, you don't see him. Not a hair. If you remember Al Sharpton's hair, 20 years ago, not a hair on the head of Al Sharpton can be seen anywhere. Or his jumpsuit, his sweatsuit. My personal connection with Stone, besides, being friends with St. John Hunt and Robert Morrow and all those characters, is I've told the story a few times how on the day of the debate, when candidate Mr. Trump was debating Hillary Clinton, and it was that day, it was right after the Access Hollywood tape. It was that debate where he brought in all those people like Paula Jones and what's her name, Willie, Juanita Roderick, all those people, all the people that have been raped by Bill Clinton. And Trump brought them all in there, to be his guests for the debate. And that day I got a phone call from someone who had just gotten off the phone with Roger Stone. And Roger Stone at the time, in public, wasn't working for Trump at the time. But I get this call from someone who I know, not St. John Hunt, by the way, and not any of the names I've mentioned today. It's a different person. And they tell me, hey, Ed, Roger Stone wants the contact information for Kathy O'Brien. And I says, oh, really? I says, why do they want that? Oh, yeah, they're going to bring her down here to the debate. Now, Kathy O'Brien wrote this book, called Transformation, in America, and it's very extreme. You look up my interview with Kathy O'Brien, very wild stories and accusations in this book. I think she kind of fell apart in my interview with her when I was asking her some very simple questions. They couldn't answer them. But, many people still believe the story. And, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. And it's not like she confessed or anything. But fascinating enough that Stone and Trump wanted Kathy O'Brien down there at the debate to shake up Bill and Hillary Clinton. So I suppose that they believe the story. But what's even more shocking is in the conversation, the guy blurted out that they thought it was Kellyanne Conway who leaked the grab him by the pussy tape to Access Hollywood because she's an effing CIA agent. Okay? So that's what they were saying. That's what they were talking about the day of this debate down there. This is the kind of chaos and madness that's going on around there. Now, on top of that, I said to my friend, I says, well, listen, man, send them all, if you're going to send them my show on Kathy O'Brien, send them all the shows I've done about the Clintons. And he said, okay, send them to me, and I'll send it to him. And then I would hear the speeches later on. They go right down the line. All my topics about the Clintons, Trump was talking about it. So for all you people who think, you can't believe a word I say because Ed's a socialist and Ed's a leftist and he's a Democrat and he hates Trump, so I'm lying about Trump all the time. Trump came to me. These guys came to me. Okay, and I handed them all my opposition research on the Clintons. I handed it right over. I'll work for anybody, I'll tell you the truth. But, it's the truth. The stuff I dug up on the Clintons is the truth, and I want it out there, and I got it out there. Okay, so you have an open mind with these things here. Let's see what time we got here. Hey, what a day, huh? I'm feeling better. Not too sick today. Okay, we got time. Let's see. Name of today's show is The Russians blackmailed the Clintons. Okay? And now this is a theory I've been working on for quite some time. And I'll tell you how it started. And I've been holding back, too. I've been more and more convinced about this in the past couple of months. But I've been holding back because when I really started to become convinced of this, by coincidence, I was working on a job over here. By the way, a lot of people seem to think that I'm a retired private investigator. I'm still a full-time private investigator. You can hire me. I can use the work. But I was working on this job, and I needed a certain service done for me. Okay? And the guy I normally contact, I'm trying to get him to do it for me as a favor. Trying to get it done for free. Which, I've done many, many favors for him, time for him to do a favor for me. But I guess he felt that, he had done enough favors for me, So I called him up when I needed this favor. And he goes, by the way, this guy's no slouch either. And he says, Eddie, just go to the guys that I use. Meaning I got to go to these other guys. And, they're going to want to get paid. So he hooks me up with these guys. And it turns out these guys are real, real big shots. Okay, in this field. And it was right around this time that I came to this conclusion that the Russians blackmailed the Clintons. But I didn't want to talk about it because I said, because these guys would be in a position to know this kind of stuff. And I said, if I talk about this now and anybody's watching me and stuff like that, they're going to think that these guys told me this. But these guys had nothing to do with it. Okay? They are not my source for this information. I pretty much figured this out on my own. I came to this idea that the Clintons threw the election. Okay, why did Trump win this election? Because, because he's a brilliant campaigner, all this kind of stuff, Or he didn't, well, they say he didn't win the popular vote, but who really knows? Because there's so much, the voting is rigged, and the Clintons are in a much better position to rig the vote and steal votes than Trump and his ragtag team was. The more we see, the inner workings of these guys, you read this indictment today, the more you see all this, you see what kind of there was a gang that couldn't shoot straight. Roger Corsi? Jerome Corsi, they got hit. And Roger, these characters running around in circles, bumping into each other. Talking about the Frankie Five Angels, Frankie Pantangeli, Are you kidding me, man? I'm gonna take your dog. I'm gonna get your dog. All this craziness, all this chaos with this bunch, and they could pull this off? I don't think so. And the more you look at it, and what I thought happened was, because right before the end of the election, the end of the campaign, there was all this talk, all this little scuttlebutt going on around about Anthony Weiner's laptop. And Eric Prince, who's the guy that owned Blackwater, now he's got a different company name for it. But this is the guy that founded Blackwater. And Eric Prince, by the way, is a guy who was being sued by some former employees. And there's witnesses in that case that are allowed to remain anonymous because they're alleging that Eric Prince is guilty of murders, covering up his crimes. And the judge feels that there's enough evidence to that they're allowing these witnesses to remain anonymous in this lawsuit against Eric Prince. That'll give you an idea of the kind of guy Eric Prince is. Okay? And Eric Prince was going on the radio and going on TV and talking about how he had sources in NYPD and in the New York FBI that knew what was on Anthony Weiner's laptop. And when that information got out, it was going to be so damning and so damaging to the Clintons that he actually went and he made a big donation to Trump right around this time. And that's what really convinced me. And I knew that Prince had connections because I knew that Prince had connections to NYPD because my partner was NYPD, and we used to recruit people to go work for Blackwater back in those days, way back in the early 2000s. Okay? About 15 years ago. 16 years ago. So I knew about Eric Prince and Blackwater and his connections to NYPD and his connections to Trump's chief of security, Keith Schiller. because Keith Schiller was also involved in all this. And I had my connections with Keith Schiller. I did some work for him. And also, too, Keith Schiller, when I was starting my company, people were so afraid of Keith Schiller, they didn't want to come work for me and do any work for me because I'd be competing with Keith Schiller. Okay? So I'm very familiar with these people. And, of course, my dealings with Giuliani and stuff like that over the years. And don't forget, too, I did the phones in Wienergate. I was there at the beginning of Wienergate. So I knew all about the allegations against Anthony Weiner and allegations that never made it to the paper and all that kind of stuff as well. So my ears were perked with this theory that there was dirt on this laptop, which made sense to me because if Weiner was such an extreme pervert, Uma Abedin, his wife, who he had just recently married, when they were flirting and courting and all this kind of stuff, they had to be both involved in the same kind of perversions and they had the same kind of interests. Otherwise they wouldn't be attracted to each other. They would just move along, and go find someone else who had their interests that they had. So I said, it's possible that there's some stuff on there. And it's possible that this would be leaked back to Prince and Schiller and Giuliani and this whole bunch. It's a definite possibility. And then they would get this information and they would go and blackmail the Clintons and say, listen, all you got to do is you don't get out the vote in Wisconsin and Minnesota and Pennsylvania and Pittsburgh and these places that they lost. It's much easier, okay, if you want to fix an election, to lose an election than it is to steal an election. Because all you do is you just go to certain key people and you say, hey, hold back. Don't get out the vote. Okay, because you don't just do commercials and wait for people to go. Go to the polls and vote. When you get out those votes, the unions, the local party bosses, the local volunteers, they got vans and buses and cars, and they drive around. Oh, I'll take you to the polls, and they pick people up and take them over there. They go to the nursing homes and all that kind of stuff. And the churches get the souls to the polls. There's a lot of organization involved, and it's really easy to pull that back. And if Trump had some dirt on the Clintons and he could blackmail them, they would pull it back and he would be the winner. And that's what I thought happened. I no longer think that. When I get back, I'm going to tell you what my new theory is, and it's going to make a lot more sense than this one. Uranium 1. We're getting to that. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to play a little commercial message. We'll be right back after these messages. And now a word from our sponsors. Check out CartKing.com, 877-986-7771. Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Perhaps your current business wants to add multiple point-of-sale locations across the country quickly. Maybe the facility you manage could kickstart revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services, like let's say you own an office building or a warehouse. Put one of these carts there in the lobby. Well, CartKing.com can be the answer to your needs. CartKing.com is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile retail, coffee, and food carts and kiosks money can buy. For 20 years, CartKing.com has been working with clients and corporations across America to provide indoor and outdoor carts and kiosks for any application. From large, heated, and secure outdoor retail or food kiosks to smaller, more mobile coffee kiosks or coffee stations, coffee carts, CartKing.com designs and builds them all. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on the website, CartKing.com. Please visit today at CartKing.com or just call them at 877-986-7771. Tell them Ed Opperman sent you and you get a good deal. Remember, all these shows on Awake are brought to you by emailrevealer.com. You can go to emailrevealer.com and get a copy of my book, How to Become a Successful Private Investigator. You also do all the kind of different services for you. Online dating service investigations called an online infidelity investigation. And that's where you give us your husband or your boyfriend, your girlfriend's email address, and we trace it back to their online dating websites, and we return a list of all the dating sites that email is registered to. We can expand on that investigation and trace it back to porn sites, escort service sites, swinger sites, gambling websites, and even prescription drug websites, and all kinds of digital forensics, computer and cell phone digital forensics, where we can recover deleted content from an email or a hard drive and produce a report for you that you can use in court. That's emailrevealer.com, or you can contact me at oppermaninvestigations@gmail.com. The Opperman Report is brought to you by SubhashTechnosis.com. Subash Technosis is a search engine optimization and website design company. They're located in India, so you know you're going to save a lot of money and get top quality service. They offer all sorts of business process outsourcing, data entry, banking BPO services, recruitment process outsourcing, software testing, offshoring, research network, customer care, press release, content writing and distribution, and much, much more. Now, you can get a hold of Subash Technosis by email at info@subhashtechnosis.com. Their website is www.subhashtechnosis.com, and their Skype is ANUSHASUBASH. Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. Show's brought to you by 21 Financial. 21 Financial provides unparalleled personalized accounting services to a broad range of clients across New York and Houston area. From now until November 14th, their sole focus is getting taxpayers the biggest refund possible on the money they earned. They're now they're mobile. They can come to you. If you can't come to them, they'll come to you. With the capability to file in any states, no matter where you're listening in the United States, they can file your return for you. You can find them on Facebook and book your appointment directly, or you can call 903-265-8563 and speak with Emily. She's great. And ask for a free estimate on how they can double your refund. And they also offer a $6,000 advance on your refund. So if you're getting a $6,000 refund, they'll give you that money up front as soon as they do your return. Also, too, I'm offering a deal. If you go to Emily over there at 903-265-8563 and you get your taxes done over there, I'll give you a free membership to the Opperman Report member section. That's right. That's right. And if you advertise here on the Opperman Report, I'll offer the same deal to your customers as well. If you want to sponsor the show here, I'll offer my listeners a free membership every time they sign up to your goods or services there, within reason. Now, back to the Russians blackmailing the Clintons. Sometimes I'll bring a guest on this show and I have one question for them. I got to ask somebody a question, okay? I know they got the answer, so I'll go through the motions with the rest of the show, but there's one thing I want to know from. I did it one time with Mike Rothmiller, who's the LAPD intelligence detective from the LAPD intelligence squad, and he comes on the air all the time and he talks about Garcetti was CIA, and the CIA had infiltrated the LAPD intelligence squad, and that what do you call it? They would blackmail people with the information they found. And I also talked to Jim Rothstein one time, and I said to him, I asked both of these guys the same question. And I have asked the question to other people off the air who would be in this kind of situation to know. And I says, if you were the NYPD and you had Anthony Weiner's laptop and there was dirt on the Clintons on that laptop, would you turn it over to the district attorney? Or would you keep that for your own personal use? And every single time I've been told the same thing, that they would keep it for their own personal use. Hey, DK, long time no see, man. I missed you, bro. Now, so the thing is, if there was this dirt on Wiener's computer, would they turn it over or would they use it for blackmail dirt? I think they would use it for blackmail dirt, but I don't think that's what happened anymore. I think they looked in that. If maybe there's someone's holding it back, maybe it wouldn't, de Blasio has it or something. Who knows? But I don't think that's how they got to the Clintons. You know, and this is gonna make sense to you, man. Okay, this is all makes sense if I could just explain it correctly. Okay, let's read today's indictment. Okay. The first line, the introduction. Now, nobody's reading this. Go on. Yeah, I don't care. You go on any radio station. You go on any news show. No one's going to read to you what I'm reading to you right now. They're all talking about Frankie Pantangelino. They can't pronounce the name. Frankie Pangelini. They can't say it. Nobody watches The Godfather. Frankie Five Angels. Frankie Pantangelo. They can't say it, though. You're talking about the dog, and all this stuff. Everything they're talking about. But no one's talking about this, and it's right in our face, and it's the first line, and Mueller put it there because Mueller knows what I know, and I think that Mueller is part of the cover-up of this blackmail of the Russians against the Clintons. Line number 1. By in or around May 2016, the Democratic National Committee and the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee became aware that their computer systems had been compromised by unauthorized intrusions, and they hired a security company, Company 1, to identify the extent of the intrusions. Now, the company they hired is a company called CrowdStrike, which is FBI. It's run by the former director of the FBI. This is an FBI company. They might as well still be FBI. They're in and out of, just like, I'm talking about things before I needed a favor. It's the same kind of thing, guys. They're former FBI, but they're still getting information back and forth. Company number 1. On or about June 14, 2016, the DNC, through Company 1, publicly announced that it had been hacked by Russian government actors. Now, by the way, too, before we go too far ahead of our story here, we want to take a look at the top of the indictment today. Okay, when that part where it says, United States versus Roger Jason Stone Jr., defendant, and then right on there has the case number, 119 00CR00118, assigned to the judge, Amy B. Jackson, assigned date, description, indictment, related case. And they give you another case number. Okay? And this is the kind of thing smart guys look for. Because when you got a big conspiracy case, that related case, when you look up that case number, that's the 12 Russian KGB agents that were indicted. That Mueller was able to track them down in Russia and knew who was sitting at which desk. They're hacking into the DNC computers. Okay? He knew the office and the location of the people, and he knew their names of who hacked into the computer. Now, how'd they know that? Oh, they got these great computer tracking guys down there at CrowdStrike, Ed. I've met the guys at CrowdStrike. They're not that great. Okay? This is not it's very easy to hide your tracks. Even Putin says, if we want to hide our tracks, we can hide our tracks. Of course you can. Everybody knows that. People come in and say, well, it can't be the Russians because the CIA, they could do this and they can hide their tracks. They can make it look like the Russians. Of course they can. But what can't they do? Let's read that line again. In around May 2016, the DNC and the DCC became aware that their computer systems had been compromised. How did they become aware? Anybody stop and think, how did they become aware? Hillary Clinton was walking down a hallway one day and she says, I smell hackers. I think our computer system's hacked. Is that what happened? What happened? How did they become aware? Was it the genius John Podesta? You know how John Podesta's email got hacked? wasn't some big operation. They sent them a phishing thing and says, hey, enter your password in here because you want a prize or some nonsense, okay? Or you've been logged out accidentally, re-log in. And that fool, that dope, who's typing away about all his spirit cooking and all this crazy nonsense, right? Types in his password and gives it to the Russians. And his password, by the way, was something like password 1234. Okay, so right? How did they become aware? How did the DNC and the DCC become aware that their computers were hacked before they hired CrowdStrike? Because that's what made them go hire CrowdStrike. And CrowdStrike says right away, a week later, hey, it's the Russians. Right? How did that happen? I'll tell you how it happened. And I'll tell you how I know how it happened. If I hacked into and I had the dirt on Hillary Clinton, right? What am I going to do? And I'm Putin, right? Putin's all about money. Putin wants money. Putin wants power, right? And I'm Putin, and I got the dirt on Hillary Clinton. See, because if you read the rest of this indictment, they were all convinced that there was a lot of serious dirt in here about the Clinton Foundation, money laundering, bribery. The Clinton Foundation's $1 billion slush fund. Trump Jr., Bannon, Manafort, Stone, they're all convinced. When's it coming out? When's the stuff about the Clinton Foundation coming out? When's the stuff coming out about Hillary's health and her being sick all the time? When's the stuff coming out? They're all waiting for the juicy dirt. The juicy dirt never came out. Why didn't the juicy dirt come out? Why didn't the juicy dirt on the bank, the Clinton Foundation slush fund, is still secret? It's still intact. Why? Think. Because how did they become aware? Putin called them up and says, hey, I'm in your computer. I got you. I got you by the balls. And you're going to pay me, or I'm going to tell everyone. And they made a deal. And you can even hear the negotiations going on back and forth with Credico and Corsi, these clowns, with Stone. Oh, there's security threats going on. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of stuff. What's going on? There's a negotiation going on. The pressure. Okay? This stuff never came out. It's still secret. What actually came out of those stupid emails? Really nothing besides a Pizzagate, and nobody cares about that. Putin has the dirt, and he still has the dirt. And Putin probably got a cash payoff with the Uranium One deal. We know that went on, right? Who knows what else? Who knows what else? And maybe that's how they put the pressure on the Clintons to throw the election. But that's what happened. Think about it. The Russians told the Clintons that they were hacked. And that's how the Clintons knew it was the Russians. And the Clintons told CrowdStrike, and CrowdStrike says, yeah, you're probably right, it's the Russians. And how did Mueller know whose desk and whose office and who did all the hacking? Because they got the phone numbers from or the communications of the negotiations. This is the only thing that makes sense. And this is what anybody who's a blackmailer would do. If you're in the business of blackmailing people, you don't go to their opponent. You go right to the guy. You go to both of them. You try and get money from both if you can, but you go right to the guy. That's the guy you go to first. I'll keep your secret if you pay me. You don't give it to their political opponent and hope something comes out of it. That Trump's not going to blow it by grabbing some chick by the pussy on TV. He's going to blow the whole thing anyway by being a buffoon and a fool. You can't put your money on that guy. You got the money in your hand. The Clintons got all the money in the world, all that coke money. And the Clintons can cover it up too. They can go to the 17 intelligence agencies. They appointed all those people. They've got all the Mena, Arkansas, blackmail dirt and the drug money from back then. All this stuff. And even Trump now, who's he bringing in? William Barr. goes back to all that stuff. This is the only thing that makes sense. It's the Russians that told Hillary that they've hacked into her computer. She didn't figure it out on her own. They had some clown private server in Colorado in a bathroom. Remember all that? They didn't figure out who was hacking them. Not in your life. They became aware. I hope I'm making sense, because I'm telling you, with every fiber in my body, I know this is true. It's just a hunch. I don't have the proof, but listen to what I'm saying. It all makes sense. Then they put in all this stuff. Mueller's a smart guy. Oh, they're going to talk about Frankie Pantangeli and all that stuff. They're going to be talking about how Roger Stone threatened this guy's doggy and your little dog too, right? Everyone's going to be talking about that. That's it, guys, man. And let me see what else I got here. Now, wait a second. I just think, too, while all this is going on, now, like, Wiener's computer couldn't get hacked. I know for a fact that Wiener was chatting and fooling around with a dozen people, not just what we know about in the public, okay? So Wiener's not downloading executable files from strangers, teenage girls. You send him a half-naked picture, he's going to say, oh, yeah, send me a video. Okay? They could have easily hacked, what's his name, too? And Trump and his buddies, man, they think they got the dirt here. They think they might have gotten ripped off. Okay? Putin might have told them, hey, I got the dirt and pay me the money, and they're waiting for it. But meanwhile, he got paid off by the Clintons. Because Trump is running around with this gang that can't shoot straight. This Jerome Corsi and Jerome Corsi, the QAnon whisperer, the guy who was decoding QAnon for a live stream, $5 a stream character, goofball, right? We're to believe that's the same league as Putin and Clinton, with Uranium One and the Clinton Foundation and Putin, the richest man on the planet? I don't think so. I don't think so one bit. So that's my theory, guys. And by the way, too, don't forget. Now I see now also too. Stone today. You see, he's walking out of there. That's the guy who, when you get an indictment like that, and you're walking out, and you're feeling, you're looking at confident, you're looking relieved. Okay, that's because you're waiting for that indictment to come, or you're waiting for that bus to come. And when you find out what they got, and they don't got everything you've done, okay, man, you're in good shape. Oh man, they don't know about this. They didn't find that. Oh my God, thank God. That's what Stone's saying tonight. But he may not realize that this related case is the 12 Russian KGB agents that were indicted too as well by Mueller. By the way, too, I did a lot of research into that. I haven't really talked about it on the air, but those Russians that were running those companies, and one of them lived on Staten Island right by my friend's church, and they had some really disgusting websites, man. These porno websites with the rape, in the title and stuff like that, and all stuff about dead bodies, and there was really extreme porn with dead bodies in motel rooms and putting women in suitcases. A lot of really extreme, creepy stuff, man. So there's that. And speaking of which, I got a tip tonight from my good friend Ted Rubenstein, who spotted something in the indictment today in the bail conditions, and that is good old Roger Stone has to go in for a drug test. He has to be drug tested while he's out on his bail. Did you know that? That's unheard of in a case like this. If you got a drug bust, you got a drug possession bust, a DUI, something like that, they may make a drug test part of your conditions of your parole or your bail, but not in a situation like this. So somewhere along the line, someone ratted out Mr. Stone. I believe Ted Rubenstein thinks that it was Randy Credico who did this, who told him about Stone's drug use. So we'll be keeping an eye on that in the future. Let's take a little commercial break here, and we'll be right back after these messages. And now a word from our sponsors. Check out CartKing.com, 877-986-7771. Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Perhaps your current business wants to add multiple point-of-sale locations across the country quickly. Maybe the facility you manage could kickstart revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services, like let's say you own an office building or a warehouse. Put one of these carts there in the lobby. Well, CartKing.com can be the answer to your needs. CartKing.com is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile retail coffee and food carts and kiosks money can buy. For 20 years, CartKing.com has been working with clients and corporations across America to provide indoor and outdoor carts and kiosks for any application. From large, heated, and secure outdoor retail or food kiosks to smaller, more mobile coffee kiosks or coffee stations, coffee carts, CartKing.com designs and builds them all. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on the website, CartKing.com. Please visit today at CartKing.com or just call them at 877-986-7771. Tell them Ed Opperman sent you and you get a good deal. Remember, all these shows on Awake are brought to you by emailrevealer.com. You can go to emailrevealer.com and get a copy of my book, How to Become a Successful Private Investigator. You also do all the kind of different services for you. Online dating service investigations called an online infidelity investigation. And that's where you give us your husband or your boyfriend, your girlfriend's email address, and we trace it back to their online dating websites, and we return a list of all the dating sites that email is registered to. We can expand on that investigation and trace it back to porn sites, escort service sites, swinger sites, gambling websites, and even prescription drug websites, and all kinds of digital forensics, computer and cell phone digital forensics, where we can recover deleted content from an email or a hard drive and produce a report for you that you can use in court. That's emailrevealer.com, or you can contact me at oppermaninvestigations@gmail.com. The Opperman Report is brought to you by SubhashTechnosis.com. Subash Technosis is a search engine optimization and website design company. They're located in India, so you know you're going to save a lot of money and get top quality service. They offer all sorts of business process outsourcing, data entry, banking BPO services, recruitment process outsourcing, software testing, offshoring, research network, customer care, press release, content writing and distribution, and much, much more. Now, you can get a hold of Subash Technosis by email at info@subhashtechnosis.com. Their website is www.subhashtechnosis.com, and their Skype is ANUSHASUBASH. Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. Got caught up in the chat there. I forgot I'm doing a live radio show. Sorry, guys. Okay, but I am back. It's funny too. This whole thing about the Frankie Pantangelo, Frank Pantangelo, this Godfather reference. It's so fascinating to me. All these Godfather references and how the movie The Godfather has influenced the actual members of organized crime. I've known a lot of organized crime guys back in New York, and even some here in Las Vegas. And so many of them would learn, and I'm talking about big guys, big names, names you'd know, would guide their behavior on what they saw in The Godfather. This is how we should run our mafia family because this is how they did it in the movie, The Godfather. Just fascinating. And that they use these references all over the place, and they'll quote things from the Godfather movies. It's had such an impact on our life. And in my own life, I'm guilty of this myself, because I remember seeing one time a news story or something. It was about like Miami Vice, when Miami Vice was out, back in the 80s. And they said this line one time, that no self-respecting smuggler would be without his MAC-10, a fully automatic MAC-10 machine gun. And I heard this and I said, well, I better go out and get one. I better go out and get okay? I better go out and get myself a MAC-10. And I couldn't get a MAC-10. I got a MAC-11. But I had a fully automatic MAC-11 machine gun in New York. Okay, which is probably a life for that these days. Story just came out. Doug Caddy, the Watergate burglar attorney, and fascinating character. We've had him on the show a few times. He just posted this story about how NYPD runs this operation where you could donate to like the police athletic league and stuff like that, or hire certain private investigators in New York and get your gun permits, your carry permits in New York, which are like gold to have in New York. And that Jared Kushner had one and Trump had one, and that they probably went through this cast of characters. But I think I know who Trump would have went through. In fact, I'm positive I know who Trump would have gone through. And Kushner and those characters to get their licenses. But it was funny because when I got my Mac 11, I used to take it out to Tucson. And I had these 50-round magazines, these huge extended magazines. Man, I had 3 of them. Okay, I could fire 150 45 caliber rounds out of this gun in the 110-degree Arizona heat. Okay, and we would go out there, man, and we would blast this. We had a couple of these fully automatic weapons out there. But mine was this little Mac 11, and it had a shoulder thing you could extend, because if you just tried to shoot like a pistol like you see on TV, forget it, you're not going to hit anything. But blasting 150 rounds through this thing, okay, in minutes, and people are telling me that when they're watching all this nonsense, okay, about the Las Vegas shooter and how if he was firing these bump stock weapons, that the weapons would melt. If they were firing so many rounds that the guns would melt and that the shells would come out and they would catch fire, the carpets would catch fire from this and stuff. And here I am out in the freaking desert blowing 150 rounds out of this thing. Yeah, it gets hot. We had a t-shirt, you'd put a t-shirt to be cool off your hand, you're touching the barrel. But it's nothing's melting. There was one time too, we tried to come up with a homemade silencer out of these soda bottles, these plastic soda bottles. Even the soda bottles weren't melting. But all the experts on the 9/11, the October 1st shooting, telling me that it's gonna melt. The whole hotel room's gonna catch fire from the shells. Oh, God, Zooks. Which reminds me, that little controversy from the past couple of weeks. If you go back, I did the show about Max Spears, And so on the YouTube channel, Max's mother's been on there commenting. And Christine Hart, who I mentioned, came on there and commented. She had some complaints, too. Then she deleted her comment. Anyway, there's a lot of controversy back and forth with this whole bunch. And none of them seem to want to answer any questions. They just want to hurl insults at me. So you can go there and check that out. And also, too, the interview came up with... I'm not even going to talk about the other one. I'm going to let that one go. I'm going to take the high road. How's that? Ed Harper's going to take the high road. Hey, if you like tonight's show, please check out our members section, okay? We definitely need more members to keep us going, keep us alive here, and I'll give you that discount, 13 months for $65. I have some additional help coming in to help me with the show, so we should be able to get you some better content. I have another meeting with that documentary film company, and we're going to be doing that film with Hank Harrison, the father of Courtney Love. We've got some real serious people involved in this now, not like last time. It was more of a shoestring type operation. But so a lot of good stuff in the future here with the show and my work here for you. So I really would appreciate your support, especially with even little things like promoting the YouTube channel, sharing it, subscribing, little likes and stuff like that. All that kind of stuff helps. Okay, so thank you so much. And if you have any kind of comments or questions, I left you that number. You can find the number on the website, oppermanreport.com. There's a phone number where you can leave comments and suggestions and questions and things like that. And then I'll do like a show where we play it. Oh, by the way, there's some new stuff added to the member section too. We just added that show with Scott Kaiser, the son of the JFK assassin and Watergate burglar. I know a lot of people are looking for that show. We just went up in the member section. And my interview with Sherry Wisdom is in the member section right now, too. And I tried to get into this. So it's kind of funny if you listen to that, because I tried to explain my Russian blackmail theory then, and it just sunk like a rock. These people weren't listening. They started trying to tell me about Seth Rich and all that kind of stuff like that. But if you're into that, my theory won't make sense if you're off in that kind of fantasy land. All right, guys, thank you so much, and I really enjoyed tonight's show too. So thanks. It's good to see DK back in the chat room too as well. I missed you, buddy. So thank you so much, guys. Remember, you can become a member. OppermanReport.com. or you want a discount, you email me at operamanreport@gmail.com. We have over 200 shows in there now. There's videos, there's court documents, there's pictures, there's images, all kinds of fun stuff. Fun games and surprises at operamanreport.com. Thank you so much.